Bianca Belair has called out the racism she has received at the company. Bianca has revealed that she has received racist abuse at the company and from fans during her wrestling career. Fans were shocked to hear that Bianca was the target of racist comments after being revealed as the cover star for the promotion's video game. Fans think this is sad because it was supposed to be a major milestone in her career, and it has been spoiled by people abusing her. She was also involved in a case against the promotion in which a writer said that she was pushed to write a backstage scene for Bianca that included racist stereotypes. The writer said that she attempted to take out a racist line from the script, but it was added back in by higher-ups. When it was presented to Bianca, she stressed how angry she was at having to say the line every week. They say that it must be really hard to be the target of abuse like this while working her dream job. They say that it's disgusting that racism still exists in the promotion and expect the higher-ups to do better. They say that Bianca is so strong for continuing despite the company attempting to belittle her. And now, on August 27th, underneath the quote on Instagram which said, "Racism is alive and well," Bianca left a comment which said, "I know, I see it all the time in my workplace and my personal life. It's crazy and horrible. It must be difficult for Bianca to think about the way she is treated in the company, and she is suggesting that they are still racist towards her and making her do things that are disrespectful to who she is. She is subtly calling out the promotion and probably hopes that they do better in future." One fan said, "I'm so proud of Bianca for speaking out. It takes courage to call out racism, especially in a high-profile industry like wrestling. She deserves so much respect." Another fan said, "This is just drama. Every company has its issues. Maybe she should focus on her wrestling instead of complaining." For this video's comment question, should the promotion be doing better to educate its staff about diversity? Before you go, has reacted to Bianca Belair speaking up on racism she faces in the wrestling world. Roman Reigns has reacted to Bianca Belair speaking up on racism she faces in the wrestling world. Bianca recently revealed that she has received racist abuse at the company and from fans during her wrestling career. She said that she was the target of racist comments after being revealed as the cover star for the promotion's video game. Fans think this is heartbreaking because it was supposed to be a major milestone in her career and it has been spoiled by people abusing her. She was also involved in a case against the promotion in which a writer said that she was pushed to write a backstage scene for Bianca that included racist stereotypes. The writer said that she attempted to take out a racist line from the script, but it was added back in by higher-ups. When it was presented to Bianca, she stressed how angry she was at having to say the line every week. Some fans say that it must be really hard to be the target of this abuse while working her dream job. They say that it's disgusting that racism still exists in the promotion and expect the higher-ups to do better. They say that Bianca is so brave for continuing despite the company attempting to belittle her. On August 27th, underneath a quote on Instagram which said, "Racism is alive and well," Bianca left a comment which said, "I know, I see it all the time in my workplace and my personal life. It's crazy and horrible." And now, Roman has reacted to Bianca's revelations. In a comment underneath a post about it, he said, Heartbreaking to know this, sending all my support. It must be crushing for Roman to find out that one of his friends is suffering so much abuse from the fans and company higher-ups. He will be reaching out to her privately to offer his help. One fan said, "It's so sad to hear about Bianca's experiences with racism. It's heartbreaking that even someone as successful and talented as her has to deal with this. I'm glad Roman is showing his support. We need more allies like him speaking out against racism in the wrestling world." Another fan said, "While it's nice that Roman is showing support, it's not enough. We need more than just words. We need action. The company needs to take concrete steps to address racism within its ranks."
What's good in the hood?
Just hold it down, trying to take care of business.
Keep it up, I'm a nigga.
I don't like being up here. I was getting out my car, I slipped and fell. It's the tobacco pit. And you know what I'm saying? Nothing but rednecks up here. Nothing but geese up here. Nothing but coal miners up here. Chicken farmers, clansmen. I don't like nobody but my partner. You understand? I don't care who you line up in front of me. I'ma show you how bad New Jack and Mustafa is. You wanna talk about violence? Violence to you might be putting somebody in a figure four. Violence to me is taking a can of gas and pouring it on you and setting you on fire. Like me or not, I didn't come up here to be liked. I came up here to get paid. And whoever you put in front of me, I'm gonna drop it down. I don't like being up here. I was getting out my car, I slipped and fell. It's the tobacco pit. And you know what I'm saying? Nothing but rednecks up here. Nothing but geese up here. Nothing but coal miners up here. Chicken farmers, clansmen. I don't like nobody but my partner. You understand? I don't care who you line up in front of me. I'ma show you how bad New Jack and Mustafa is. You wanna talk about violence? Violence to you might be putting somebody in a figure four. Violence to me is taking a can of gas and pouring it on you and setting you on fire. Like me or not, I didn't come up here to be liked. I came up here to get paid. And whoever you put in front of me, I'm gonna drop you down.
Hey, what's going on, my wrestling friends? Welcome to the Figure 4 TV. And today we got a great topic for you. You know how we do. WWE can't keep getting away with booking black wrestlers like the weak link, guys. I got my guy Toxic Ring Scandals, also known as the Red Carpet Ring, also known as Pink Squared Circle. What's going on, my guy?
What's going on? What's going on, Figure 4, man? This is a good topic that has not been discussed enough. And this is the time to discuss it now because I know a lot of fans be thinking about saying it. They want to say it. Well, here we are.
Let's go. And guys, keep in mind, I'm a wrestling fan. I've been watching wrestling forever now, for damn near going on 40 years, guys. I have memories dating back to I remember the barbershop. I was sitting in my mama living room when the barbershop was going down, when Shawn Michaels threw Marty Jannetty through that barbershop. I remember when the $1 Million Man called the little boy up there and got the little boy to dribble the ball 10 times and then kicked it at 9. I remember that. I remember when the Ultimate Warrior came back and everybody thought he was a different person because he just wasn't taking steroids because that was part of the deal to come back. I remember that. I go back. So I remember. I also remember when Ron Simmons won the World's Heavyweight Championship. KDH, what's some of your memories, man? Just so before we get into it, because this is a very touchy, sensitive subject. But what are some of your pro wrestling memories?
Question. I remember when the NWO was formed, when Hulk Hogan was the third man, and he went from the yellow and red, the red and yellow, to the white and black. He went from Hulkster, Hulkamania, went to Hollywood Hogan. I remember the night on Monday Night Raw when Mick Foley won the WWE Championship for the first time, when Stone Cold came in and he hit Rock with the chair. Mick Foley won the title. I remember that moment. I also remember the time, another good moment. I remember when WWE bought out WCW. I remember that moment, very good moment. And
that was crazy. Remember Shane was on WCW TV and wow.
I remember Harlem Heat winning the Tag Team Championship. Booker T doing a Harlem Hangover on top rope. I remember those moments. I mean, and it's just one thing after another. I even remember Kurt Angle's debut when he was a fan of the crowd. And he came to suplexes and he won a WWE title from the Rock for the first time. I remember that moment like it was yesterday. Kurt Angle literally rose to the top. It's like no other. So. And also remember too, Brock Lesnar debuting, and he won a WWE title in a fast rise. It was 5 months, I think 5-6 months. So I remember those moments. I remember when Brock Lesnar was not the beast incarnate. He was not the beast. He was the next big thing. I remember that Brock Lesnar. So a lot of good moments in wrestling. You still there, Figure 4? You still there? Move to the chat. Salute to you, Gerard. Salute to you, man. Thanks for coming out, yo. Said unfortunately they will get away with it because blacks are united. Interesting. Yeah, we can talk about that though, guys. Definitely gonna talk about that. Gotta get the likes up as we come in. Get the likes up. Are you on mute, Figure 4? Are you on mute?
Oh, yep. There we go. We know exactly what we're not complaining, guys. Understand, we're not content creators complaining about the sport entertainment that we love. We just calling a spade, and enough is enough. WWE cannot keep getting away with this. We understand that this is scripted television. We understand that pro wrestling is a soap opera where characters tell a story. And in this soap opera, the funny thing about this soap opera is that the villains win more majority of the time. Majority of the time, the villains are getting over and giving the heroes a reason to chase. So we understand, but that's where the problem is. That's where the problem is right there, guys. Because every other establishment is based on actual competition. So if it's scripted television, when are we going to script these things fair now? When are we going to script these things fair? Because in real life, guys, and we're going to get into the Jack Johnson story. To understand WWE and its booking and this culture and what sells to the majority of America, you got to study and you got to understand the Jack story, the Jack Johnson story, guys. So we're going to get into that. But before we get into that, guys, I want to show you something, and then I'll break it down, all right?
Full genius.
Yeah, true.
With the all-time legend. All right, guys, never been in a fight. We'll see how that goes. Still never thrown a punch.
Man.
I think
exactly how I thought it would go.
Now, if it ended right there, does that count as a fight? Does that count as a fight?
I think it counts as you got beat up.
I don't know what you were
before.
saying when you said I don't know what to expect.
Oh, he's banging his gloves. He had the guy with the tattoos.
Those shorts are funny shorts.
All
They're
right,
not fight shorts.
All right, let's see.
That's a big
Let's see
difference.
if he throws over.
Oh man. Oh, he's done. He's done. Yeah. Honestly, that's how I would be in a fight as well. That's how I would be in a fight.
I just want to say credit to me for being honest to the viewers at home. I said I know what to expect, and that's what it was.
Now, when you remove this thing being scripted, right, and you going off of sheer ability, sheer talent, when you talking about like wrestling, boxing, like contact, if you notice how NFL don't have a stronghold over their establishment like they used to, because the NFL had the quarterback position and the coach position on lock. It's not that so. It's not that much so, because that ain't scripted. That ain't scripted. You put them boys on the field, and what's gonna happen is gonna happen. But now, and the what I love, the sport and entertainment that I love, that's not the case. That's not the case, because we put men in the ring and we script these men as fools, black men that is, every single time. Now this video was inspired because of this past recent Friday Night SmackDown. How many of y'all saw Friday Night SmackDown? I didn't even watch Friday Night SmackDown. I actually caught the Friday Night SmackDown review on the red carpet ring. Wink, wink. Y'all get there. Sometimes you might miss the show, but I guarantee you get filled in. So I heard that they had the Street Profits lose to not Jacob Fatu and Tangaloa. They had the Street Profit lose to what's the dude's name? Turnbuckle King. Can you break this thing down? What happened on Friday, man? Because I heard you tell it.
Yeah, before the match started for the tag team championship against Street Profits, Jacob Fatu gave his belt up to Tangaloa, and as ordered by Solo, and he said he's Solo's enforcer, he needs to focus more on being Solo's enforcer. And Jacob looked upset, and Tama Tonga was the upset on the host title. And Jacob Fatu got that brace on his foot for the injury.
Facts. Now, hold on. Not to cut you off, right? Hold on. Hold your thought. Now, I'm not the smartest person in the world, nor am I a booker, and it's just my wrestling opinion. But that right there was seeds planted for them to lose the titles and not look weak. They could have lost the titles right there and not look weak as a fraction, because we knew they lost because Jacob Fatu ain't in this match. Am I bugging?
No, that's what I thought was the point, because Jacob looked upset. But when I saw them, Solo and Jacob sitting at the side, ringside, I said they're not gonna lose these belts. They're gonna cheat. That's exactly what they did. They cheated to and Jacob and Solo actually helped them retain. I was like, most person thinking off Jacob if he's gonna help them retain anyway. You might as well have him in the match. And he's super kicking people with a foot brace. I didn't get that. He's still down there with a foot brace. I'm like, dude, is this dude Thanos or something? Thanos? He's great. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, this dude's Thanos.
Incredible, yo. But guys, like I said, in order to truly understand WWE booking, we got to get to the Jack Johnson story, guys. That's why on the thumbnail it reads the Jack Johnson effect. So let's get to that. Let's react to that, guys.
Jack Johnson was a black man back when white people lynched Negroes on weekend. They would send him letters saying, "You fighting a white man? If you knock him out, we'll kill you." He said, "Just kill my black brothers. I'm gonna knock this white man cold."
All right, guys. So you understand, Jack Johnson, he said all that fear, all them fear tactics, all that racism, that ain't gonna spook me, bro. I'm not gonna let that get in my head. You gonna have to hang me. You gonna have to do what it do. And he proceeded to not be a victim. He proceeded to use his skills and his God-given ability to make a difference, guys. All right, that's why I'm telling you, like, I gotta speak on it. I'm not here to make you a victim. I'm not here complaining. You know what I mean? We just gotta speak on it, guys. Peep game.
I know I'm bad, but he was crazy.
This was the white man's crown, and everybody hated him for it.
Jack Johnson was a man 100 years ahead of his time. Born in 1878, Jack grew up in Galveston, Texas, in a racially tolerant neighborhood. While Galveston may have been an oasis of tolerance, the rest of the world was decidedly not. Jack Johnson was bold enough to attempt to declare his personal independence in a world defined by race. In his search for money, he didn't have to grow from the ground. Jack started taking part in events called battle royales. These were contests where several black men were blindfolded and made to fight while the crowds drank and cheered and placed bets with blood money.
And I want you to remember that. I want y'all to remember what society and what the culture liked it to see. And this is why we can't get no realistic reality characters in a black man nowadays. Our black men in these sports and in our beloved wrestling gotta be savages. They don't sell if they not savages. Peep game, guys. This is why the Wild Samoans and the Samoan family is praised, because they know how to play that savage. Look at Jacob Fatu, the prototypical savage, like savage. I was surprised they didn't turn Roman into a savage. You go over the lines and the history of all of the Samoans, including Umanga. Rikishi has showed glimpses, but they did make a turn with Rikishi, but that was coming up off of The Rock. You know what I mean? They seen how The Rock, you know what I mean? Even though we not going to mention The Rock, guys. That's one person we not talking about today. So don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare try to get me. What about The Rock? Bro, we're talking about the African-American wrestlers that want to identify with African-American, because that's another nice trick. That's another neat trick that you could do if you could do it. If you could do it, do it. I'm not knocking you. But we're talking about the African-American men that identify as full-fledged African-Americans. We're not talking about The Rock today. We're not talking about Roman today, guys. All right? You want to add anything, TBK, to what we're listening to so far with the Jack Johnson effect? Because this is WWE booking right here.
I mean, I know this ain't call me then, man. I'm thinking of an analogy. When I saw the blindfolds and when I saw them fighting, and it said for money, am I correct? They were fighting. It was whoever won blindfolded got money for this.
Exactly. The kids get money, but the establishments is placing the bets, while the black guys is blindfolded, knocking each other heads off.
Now, this is like I said, I'm not promoting this, disclaimer. What's the difference between that and when they have dogs out there fighting for money? What's the difference between those two scenarios? Sound like that's what that's similar to.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just stuff, we know dogs are not blindfolded. I'm just saying they're treating these kids out here fighting like they're dogs in the alley, or you could say in the backyard or somewhere, and they're doing fighting type. What's the difference between that and what we see on the screen right here? Sound like it's similar to dog fighting.
That was a great point, man. With that, man, I can't let that slide. Man.
He knows his opponent is completely helpless to resist the submission hold. He's in full-on attack mode now. There's what?
Man.
Jack learned to fight mostly without the aid of his sight. He learns to read his opponent's movements like Braille, and he starts winning these brutal, degrading contests with alarming consistency. Jack builds enough of a reputation blindfolded that eventually he starts taking and winning regular boxing matches. While boxing was less segregated than the rest of the country, a man of any race could earn a living assuming he could fight.
And that's just like pro wrestling, guys. You could earn a living if you could take a bump and you let us pin you and you let us book you to be a clown and you cool with that. You could come right here. You could be a part of our circus. Now let's see if you will ever dominate in our circus. But you want money? You could be a part of it. That part.
Jack Johnson could certainly fight. The only title in boxing that was truly segregated was the heavyweight championship. While black fighters had claimed the titles at the lower weights, the discrimination against black heavyweights ran deep until Jack Johnson got too good and too loud to simply ignore. At the turn of
and that maybe that's what the WWE black athletes is gonna have to do. Y'all gonna have to get too loud. And I'm telling you, your talent is there. Did you see the way Montez hopped over that goddamn rope and them two buffoons almost dropped him? They're so green that them two buffoons almost killed Montez. Y'all gotta go play that back, guys.
Yeah, go watch that SmackDown.
Go watch that SmackDown. Montez is ready. He is ready. He is ready to be the next Shawn Michaels. He's ready to throw. Oh, what's his partner name? It's sad, but what's his partner name?
Angelo Dawkins.
He's ready to throw Dawkins so deep into that barbershop glass and go on and be the next black Shawn Michaels. I don't know what's the problem?
the century, prize fighting was technically illegal. In 1901, he fights a veteran knockout artist in Joe Choinski. While Choinski beat Jack, they ended up in jail, sharing a cell for prize fighting. An enterprising sheriff saw an opportunity and snuck 2 pairs of gloves to them so they could spar. It was in a jail cell where Jack was put through his professional paces. The sparring prisoners started drawing crowds, and the sheriff started charging to watch. Soon released on good behavior, and with a few new tricks in his bag, Jack would make his run at the segregated title. In 1902, Johnson makes his mark on the division when he upsets.
Jared, hold on, Jared. You is absolutely spot on with that. But why would you have him talking? All you got to do is throw a girl with him, give him B-Fab. Just like how we gave Shawn Michaels Sensational Sherry, let's give him B-Fab and send him on his way. So, you know what I mean? Like, you're right. It's always ways to mask their weaknesses. And we do it very well. Triple H and WWE do it very well with their non-black stars.
It's the 2-time former color champion, Frank Childs. The next year.
Now, look, that is similar to how wrestling was back in the days, guys, because we're going to get to some wrestling history. And I tell you, they had a colored wrestling champion, a colored world's heavyweight champion. So you could win the colors championship in pro wrestling, but you can't win that NWA 10 pounds of gold and be black. It was always there. It was always there. KH, you want to add something?
No, man, you were spot on. I mean, this is really just similar to the wrestling with the start with boxing, because they all have one thing in common: it's a square circle. So you spot on.
Bingo.
1902, Johnson makes his mark on the division when he upsets the 2-time former color champion, Frank Childs. The next year, he faced off with the reigning champion, Denver Ed Martin. and beat him on points over 20 rounds. Jack Johnson's reign over the colored title alone made him a great. Many of his most difficult opponents he met in defense of the colored title. While he was proud of his accomplishment, Jack wasn't satisfied holding a title with a qualifier like colored in its description. As Johnson began his march toward the championship and the old guard of boxing closed ranks against him, the white champion Jack wanted to fight was a tank of a man named Jim Jeffries. By 1904, Jeffries had defended the title 7 times against exclusively white contenders. He retired undefeated, never giving Jack a shot at the title. Jack took that personally. The next champion was decided when underdog Tommy Burns won a 20-round decision over Marvin Hart. Tommy defended his championship 11 times before finally agreeing to fight Jack after he purchased ringside seats and started taunting Tommy during his fights.
That boy Jack was a bad man. You see why Muhammad Ali said, I'm bad, but he dangerous. That boy Jack was not playing. I want that title. Fuck this colored title. F this colored title. I want that title. I want the title. And guys, do y'all see how it correlate to the good old wrestling business, the good old boy business? It's the same exact blueprint. Only thing is, this ain't scripted. That's what illuminates the racism, illuminates the stereotype in this Triple H regime, in this whole wrestling industry, this wrestling business. And I hate to say it, but y'all know that's where y'all come to me, because I'm going to tell you the truth. This what make AEW realer than WWE. Yeah, WWE may be popular, but popular ain't always real. AEW more realistic. You see who hold they 10 pounds of gold? And until they get a great white hope to knock him off, he's gonna reign. He's finna knock off Daniel Bryan tomorrow. He's finna knock off a great white hope. WWE's great white hope. He's finna knock him off tomorrow.
What's good in the hood?
Hold it down, trying to take care of business.
Keep it up, I'm a nigga.
Cool. And also saying that the whole boxing wrestling thing, if you guys didn't know, Jess McMahon, the grandfather of Jess McMahon, started off as a professional boxing promoter. So there you have it. Who knows? He probably was around in the business around this time too.
And he was also the first one to let a black person into his federation too. You're talking about the not Vince's father, but Vince's father.
Yeah, not
yes.
Vince.
Yes. I heard about that.
Yeah, so I would say that's, if anything, wrestling started from the boxing, because he was around and he helped start Capital Wrestling Corporation, now known as WWE. So who knows? And if that's so, Jess McMahon probably witnessed all this stuff firsthand. He saw all this stuff, happening with Jack Johnson. He saw all this stuff happening back then.
And then you got to remember Jackie Robinson. They had to see that in baseball. They had to see all that going down in baseball. So you see how all of these establishments had groundbreaking. Like, it was around the same time where all of these establishments had to give it up. They had to give it up for the best competitor. It's undeniable. It's undeniable. Y'all saw what I showed y'all. Y'all saw the clip. It's undeniable. Remove the script, and this is gonna happen every single time. Like, every single time. You heard the announcer. He said, I knew this was going to happen.
Full genius.
Yeah, true.
With the
all-time legend. All right, guys, never been in a fight. We'll see how that goes. Still never thrown a punch.
Man.
I think exactly how I thought it would go, dude.
Now, Ben?
Just exactly how I thought it would go. You ain't never lied. And Wally, that's a good point. That's a good point. But smart is real. Smart is real. Remember, smart is realistic. being smart is realistic, but you were on point with that one. That was a good one. You know AEW being smart. Because in fact, they got caught out there. Remember, they following the developmental program, WWE's developmental program. So they only threw that belt on Swerve because NXT threw the belt on Trick.
Trick not even champion no more. He not even champ. You know?
Yeah, and that just go to show you what Triple H really feel. And that was when I stopped, and that's when I knew WWE. Like that was when I knew, like, all right, let me not put my all into their stuff because this is theirs. This is theirs. So you're not gonna get me to invest in something that's theirs. I used to think this was ours, but let me play the exact time and point when I knew this was theirs. This is not ours. And it happened in the 2000s, bro.
I think you're a little bit confused about your role in life here. I think you're a little bit confused. You see, Booker, you're going to get to go to WrestleMania, but you see, the fact is, Booker, somebody like you doesn't get to be a world champion. You see, people like you don't deserve it. That's reserved for people like me. See, Book, that's where the confusion is. Your confusion is, see, you're not here to be a competitor. You're here to be an entertainer. That's what you do. You entertain people. Hell, you entertain me all the time. Go ahead, Book. Why don't you entertain? Go ahead. Do a little dance for me, Book. Dance? Go ahead. Give me one of those spinneroonies. Come on, Book, dance. Entertain me. That's your job. Don't be embarrassed. Come on, Book. That's what you do. You're here to make people like me laugh.
He's not laughing. More shooting.
You know it. That's your role. Your job is to make people like me laugh, and you're very good at it. With your nappy hair and your suckers. Hell, I was laughing all week long after you won that 20-man over-the-top rope battle royal. I laughed my ass off thinking about you challenging me for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yo, son, every time I watch that shit, I'll be laughing. So it did its job, yo. It did its job. But that shit is disgraceful, bro. It's an embarrassment. What's your thoughts?
I saw a comment there, Javon said why he was not canceled. Different time, different era. We're talking about over 20 years ago. It was before social media. It was before streaming. Before the world got so sensitive like it is today. But this time in, yeah, Triple H, this is what he is most hated for. Like I said, I understand Triple H. He is a businessman. He does what he got to do. I didn't agree with that move he done because reportedly they said that Booker T was booked to win that night at WrestleMania 19, and Triple H made a last minute decision. He got Vince to swerve it, standing like a true politician, where Triple H could retain the World Heavyweight Champion, especially at the time Booker T was over. He had the most momentum. He had won a battle royal, last eliminated The Rock to win to go to WrestleMania. It was messed up. Now, and honestly, since we bring this up now, I kind of think could be going far-fetched. I think that's why we got Kofi Mania. It's kind of like we didn't give it to him with Booker T 20 years ago. Let's give it to Kofi now. It's
Makes
kind of
sense.
it's kind of a redemption thing. We'll let Kofi win at WrestleMania since Booker T was supposed to win. But no offense to Kofi, it had the same feeling as if Booker T would have won. You know what I mean? The character, the whole the in-ring style, everything. It would have been the same. It would not have been the same. You know what I'm saying? If Booker, I guarantee you, if Booker T had won a WrestleMania 19 for the world title, he would have got a way bigger huge pop compared to when Kofi won at Kofi Mania at WrestleMania 35. But that's how I see it. Other people may see it a different way. I think that's why we got Kofi Mania to begin with. It's kind of we robbed you with Booker T. We'll give it to you this time. I know Daniel Bryan protested to make sure that Kofi gets over, and I think that's partially why, because they know that they didn't want to, because like I said, it's a different time now. They didn't want to hear the stuff again. Like, okay, we heard this with Booker T. We ain't going through this again with Kofi. We gonna let him win this time. That's why I think he won. You know.
That makes so much sense to me, TBK. And you normally always on point because you don't speak unless you know what you're talking about, man. So with that said, man, F Triple H. And I love Triple H.
I don't like being up here. I was getting out of my car. I slipped and fell. It's a tobacco pit. And you know what I'm saying? Nothing but rednecks up here. Nothing but geeks up here. Nothing but coal miners up here. Chicken farmers. Clansmen. I don't like nobody but my partner. You understand? I don't care who you line up in front of me. I'm going to show you how bad New Jack and Mustafa is. You want to talk about violence? Violence to you might be putting somebody in a figure four. Violence to me is taking a can of gas and pouring it on you and setting you on fire. Like me or not, I didn't come up here to be liked. I came up here to get paid. And whoever you put in front of me, I'm going to drop you down.
That's a fact. I came up here to tell the truth. Facts. I'm going to tell the truth.
I know Wally said the concept of being sensitive or to being racist. That's what I mean by the sensitive part. They are going to, according to media, they're going to say back then it would have been a racist state. Back then things would have been they didn't blow it out of proportion. They knew that it was wrong, but they didn't have a voice like they do today. So yeah, it was seen as being racist. That's what I mean by being sensitive. I mean sensitive as if today. I mean by that is when I mean sensitive as there's going to be threads all over social media about everything, and it's going to be a big, something that will be never left alone. But was it wrong for them to do that? Yeah, it was definitely wrong. Definitely looked as racist at that time. Definitely was. I agree with you saying, but yeah, that's how you can't say anything now about anything. That's back then. It wasn't like that because it was on social media. But Triple H, yeah, he didn't have to go that far. And I know Triple H had creative control back then over his character and especially his world title run. He could have told this. I don't want to say all this. I'm not gonna say all this stuff. I know he wouldn't say that. I don't think he would have.
Facts, though. Facts.
I guarantee you, if that was, and it was just, and I think he did not just as a race issue. I also think Triple H did that as a fuck you to WCW. He did it to that too. That's another reason why he did it. But I guarantee you, if that was a Goldberg, if that was a Kevin Nash, Scott Steiner, or Sting, let's say Sting was around. I know he wasn't around at that time. I was throwing old WCW names out. He wouldn't have came at him that way because it was Booker T. He had to come at him that way.
You right. You right to a certain extent, but he did bury the shit out of Scott Steiner too.
But not like this. Not like this though. Not like this.
Definitely not like that. Definitely.
Too far. Remember, I mean, Vince was known for doing that to the black wrestlers. Like I said, I'm not saying it's right either. But Yeah, Triple H took it way too far in that promo, and there's no way he could have got away with that today. No way. It wouldn't have been thought of.
Yeah.
But
You know what's crazy that you mentioned it? See, I love when you come to the Figure Four TV, right? Because you always segue right into what I want to talk about, man.
right.
And you know who running the company now? At DX. DX went from the degenerates to CEOs. And
Yep.
do you remember this? Do you remember this was real? I mean, WWE was wild back in the days. Do you remember this? And look who's talking. The leader of NXT.
How dare you? How dare you, Bret Hart, blame the Generation X for your actions? Now everybody knows the Grand Wizard there, Bret Hart, is racist to the core. You saw what he did to the nation's locker room. The Generation X agrees with the nation. This country was built on the sweat of a brow of a black man, and I accept that. The Generation X accepts that, but the Grand Wizard out there and the rest of his KKK buddies don't believe that. Farouk, it was the Hart Foundation all along. Bret Hart is in denial, and he's always in denial because he's concerned about his image.
Yo, the Generation X was
Crazy.
stupid.
Yeah.
Yo, strictly degenerates.
Well,
do you remember that? Do you remember that joint with the whole nation and the Hart Foundation and the DX? That whole triangle.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels was on. He was on one. Yeah, that was way too much. I think that was what 97, 96, 97. Yeah, I think that was too much. They always want to make fun of black people at their expense every single time. It made me go back to that was around the time. Wasn't that right before Mark Henry was on obsessed with chocolate? This dude's a monster, strongest man in the world. He up here obsessed with chocolate character being pretty much a teddy bear, lovable character.
Yo, that's crazy, Katie. Yo,
Yeah.
Turnbuckle King, man. That is crazy that you mentioned that. Because how can't you get over you are the realest you are really the strongest man in the world, in the record books.
Yeah.
How you don't get over at that character? How you gotta be, and that just shows you how fixed this culture is, this society is, bro. They want to see and black once they identify you as black, they can only see you and they can only support you if you is feminine or if you goofy. That's it.
So,
if you identify. If you don't identify, then you The Rock and Roman, and they forget that you're black, and they support you just cause. And that's part of the reason why The Rock and Roman don't identify with being black.
We need the Figure Four TV. We need that promo that Rikishi said years ago. We need that right now. When he said that, the reason why he ran over Stone Cold. Remember why he said that? If you guys remember, that's another moment I remember. This is on Raw. Now I think it was still when it was Raw is War. I think it was still Raw is War. Rikishi cut that promo. That is one of the realest promos I've ever heard. When they say, Rikishi, why did you run down Stone Cold Steve Austin? I did it. I did it for The Rock. The WWE has always been known as the Great White Hope. And then he ran down the names. Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, Bret Hart, this name, that name, Bruno Sammartino. Was he lying when he said that? He was not lying at that time.
Yo, it's crazy because he just recently rehashed that with Jey Uso being at the Yeet. Look at what they did to Yeet, KD. They chose and I love my You know I love my bro.
Yeah, you are a dummy. Dummy, yeah. Let me talk to you.
They chose that over Yeet. Why?
I'm stunned. Rikishi, why?
Okay.
What?
I did it.
What? Damn it. Look at The Rock. No,
In case you didn't hear, I admit, I did it. I ran over Austin.
It's a good thing the criminal charges were dropped.
And you ask why?
Damn right.
I didn't do it for me. No, I didn't do it for me. I did it for The Rock.
What? Did it for The Rock.
You see, Rock, I took your keys out of your bag that night when I went to go check into the hotel. And when I jumped into the car, I saw Stone Cold Steve Austin standing in the middle of the parking lot all alone. And suddenly, everything flashed right through my eyes.
This is surreal, JR.
You see, the WWF has always been all about the Great White Hope.
What? Great White Hope? What's the name of that?
And I'm talking about such people as Buddy Rogers, people like Bruno Sammartino, people like Bob Backlund, people like Hulk Hogan. And now, people like Stone Cold Steve Austin. You see, the WWF has always let the Island Boys in, but we were always held back.
Held back? What's he mean?
Now listen to me, Rock. And I really want you to listen to me. And I'm talking about people like your grandfather, a well-respected man, High Chief Peter Maivia, could have became a WWF champion, but no, they held him back. People like Jimmy Superfly Snuka, could have been a WWF champion, but no, they held him back. And people like Afa and Sika, Samu, and the Tonga Kid, they were all held back. So you see, Rock, I ran Stone Cold over, and I did this for you.
Man, yo, remember that was some epic television. Those was the times. I remember switching back and forth, going from WWE, Monday Night Raw to Nitro. Man, those was the days. But listen, guys, we having a sensitive, grown-up, adult conversation. You know what I mean? The facts are the facts. The truth is what it is, y'all. Y'all know y'all put Stone Cold on y'all Mount Rushmore. And he a whole woman beater. He a whole abuser, but we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that, right? You know what I mean? His character, Chug Down Beer. Can we get a black character that could just come to the ring, a regular average man with a 40 chug down beer or a Hennessy bottle and just chug down some Henny? You know what I mean? Montez got the cup. Why don't we just make him solo? Why don't we make him solo and turn him into the next Shawn Michaels? Why don't we do that? I mean, like, miss me with the they can't wrestle because the script can wrestle. The script can wrestle. The script Remember, at one point, the script wrote James Jesse Ellsworth to be AJ Styles. So the script, let's come on now. Let's be adults. Let's be adults. Yes, yes, he is. But let's get back to the proceedings, y'all. Salute, y'all. Thank y'all for coming out. Make sure y'all check out my wrestling channel. I don't always do this on the Mr. Goodbread reaction channel, but we got to be tired of some Diddy. We got to be tired of Diddy. We got to be tired of Diddy. Like, come on now. I'm not doing Diddy.
That's dark. And like I said, I like the but to be honest, and this is not a knock. I'm not trying to bring down LA Knight. It's not a pro-black thing either. When LA Knight, I see this on SmackDown. You ever notice when he cut his promos, he was talking on fast like this. Yeah. Let me talk to you. Who game is it? It's a sacrifice. He talks so much, and then he just goes so fast. He don't even slow down. I'm like, LA Knight, can you slow down in your promos? Yeah, a fact of life. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
he goes
LA
over.
Knight he's given the green light to do his own promos, but he's a tryhard. And you hear
Yeah,
it in his
that's
promos
what I
every
see.
time. He's
That's
nervous
exactly.
and he's
Yeah,
trying too hard.
yeah. I'm like LA Knight. You ain't got to do that much, you know. But yeah, I think Jay Uso could have got the heat. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you guys weren't even allowed to use the heat. The heat was blurred out due to a lawsuit from an independent wrestler. So y'all paid him to use that word, and now you don't even put it over. I know you can still use it because you would have blurred it out.
Right.
He might,
Now
yeah.
now that's my question to you. Do you think they paid full rights or did they pay like because it's like why would you pay for the license to something and then you not make the most money you can make off that? Are they worried about getting somebody else paid and they just like fuck it, it's not worth it?
WWE, they got money. TKO now. They would have if they paid it, they paid the whole thing. I think just have a fear that Yeet is they're gonna have to they're gonna take it all. You already got Roman with the OTC, the bloodline, the still going on stable, and he was the champ for 4 years. And now you got another Samoan. He is gonna get over with the Yeet. He's on Monday Night Raw, the number one show. And I mean, you need to put a belt on this man. At least do something for him. And they just I think they just have a fear that they're gonna, like Rikishi said, the Great White Hope ain't gonna have it all anymore. I mean, that's what I think it is. I don't see why you pay for a certain amount of the lawsuit, but don't get it all. That don't make no sense to me. You know, so I think they just don't want to put Jay over because they know where Jay's gonna go. I mean, Jay, you look at the crowds, not just at all the arenas, even international over the country, they be throwing their hands down with the Yeet. I mean, Pat McAfee even does that. I don't. If you look at SmackDown, I don't see
Facts.
Corey Graves. I don't see Corey Graves and Wade Barrett doing yeah like that. They don't go up and crazy like
Nope.
they do on Raw. Raw, he gets way more buzz. You know
Yo,
what I'm saying?
son, on their live shows, bro, they have the bad guys doing the yeet.
Yeah,
They really make something out of that yeet. It's
yeah,
crazy how
yeah.
I just don't get it.
Yeah, Yeet is the most popular saying since Yes with Daniel Bryan. I mean,
Facts.
yeah, it's popular, but I mean, like I said, yeah,
Definitely.
it's not like Yeet. It's not like Yeet. Yeet is it's a whole different genre. I mean, everybody is down with Yeet. I mean, they even had to know Yeet with Jimmy Uso. You know what I'm
Now,
saying? They made a yo Yeet, no Yeet with it. So
that's a fact. That's a good point.
that's
That's
on
a good point.
SmackDown.
They gave Jimmy a chance to make some money.
Yeah. And he had to know Yeet. And I was on SmackDown. Thanks for LA Knight is on. So if I'm gonna pick one, I'm gonna pick Yeet. Yeet has a way more depth with it. It's more depth with Yeet. I don't see the depth with Yeet so much. Yet Think about it's the times, right? Yeet got hot in what late last year because that's when the Uso moved to Raw after the whole bloodline thing. LA Knight was hot all last year, way before Yeet. Yeah, it was already hot. He got hot right after, like I said, pretty much the beginning of last year. He's dying down now, and it makes sense. You had your time. Yeet is still going. It's been almost a year since he came to Raw when Jay came from SmackDown to Raw. That's how I know it's been a while. And it's still going strong.
That's true.
Yeah,
True,
so I
good
don't
point.
understand it. Yeah, LA Knight. I mean, I like LA Knight. I just think he's a great promo cutter, but he does too much in the promos. So I was gonna keep it at that though. I'll say you all know.
Good point, man. Great point. Great spill. But guys, again, for those of y'all that just now came in, we're gonna get back to the video. This is the Jack Johnson documentary right here, guys. So in order to understand WWE booking and American culture and what sells, you know what I mean, and how the customer sees the product, you gotta go back to the Jack Johnson story, all right?
Defeated, never giving Jack a shot at the title. Jack took that personally. The next champion was decided when underdog Tommy Burns won a 20-round decision over Marvin Hart. Tommy defended his championship 11 times before finally agreeing to fight Jack after he purchased ringside seats and started taunting Tommy during his fights. Burns was eloquent in his defense in taking on Johnson, spoke a quote worthy enough to credit him as the first true world champion. No venue in either the US or the UK was willing to hold the fight for fear of a riot. The fight eventually found a home in Sydney, Australia.
Ain't that crazy? Everybody knew what was going to happen. I'm not even going to play the clip, but everybody knew what was going to happen, bro. And they just didn't want the majority. They didn't want the majority to riot because we know it's way more them than it is us.
With the understanding that if it got out of hand, the local constabulary would come in and stop the fight.
The moment Jack Johnson finally comes to grips with the white champion, he smiles a gold-toothed grin at the crowd. Every Jack Johnson fight was in front of mostly white crowds that showered him in racial slurs and threats of violence. Johnson smiled through it.
Facts, guys, because it don't matter at the end of the day. If you real how you say you real, then they can say whatever they want. We finna whip your ass. We finna take that title, and you can say whatever you want. Because if you touch me, I'm going to touch you back, sir. Seriously, we got to stop being weaklings, bro. We got to speak up. You know what I mean? We got to start being boisterous, or we got to withdraw our name from the hat. No, sir, you can't exploit my culture anymore if you're not going to put me over. No, sir, you can't culture vulture us if you're not going to put me over. No, sir, I can go to AEW, sir, and take a big old check and write my own legacy, sir, where they put the title on black people, sir. That's what we're going to have to start doing, guys.
Within a few seconds, Burns was on the floor. Burns got up and was knocked down again.
Jack's mastery in the clinch made the champion a ragdoll. Tommy looked like a teenager trying to wrestle with his new stepdad.
And you telling me, TBK, stop playing, TBK. I know. You telling me if you put Bobby Lashley in the ring and you put Roman Reigns or you put Brock Lesnar in the ring, what's going to happen?
Oh, you're going to get the almighty Bobby Lashley all day. Now, Brock, Brock is the only one that that can go head to head because Brock also done MMA. But Roman, he's so Roman's so compared to Bobby.
You know what I mean? And it's crazy. And keep in mind, wrestling is scripted. Wrestling is scripted. So when are we gonna keep it real? When are we gonna start scripting? Why would we script the Street Profits to lose? What kind of story is that? To lose to the weak link Samoans? What kind of story is that? And then you said something that made so much sense to me, TBK, when we was talking off the air about how it's similar to how, how we had the Cosbys, and then we had the Jeffersons, and then we had the Good Times, and all over our TV nationwide, right? Where you can't show two dominant black families at one time. You could show the Jeffersons, you could show a black family moving on up, but then you got to show a black family in the gutter. You can't show two black families just lit at a time. That'd be too much. If you show a lit black family, if you show a lit black person, then you gotta follow it up with showing that ignorant gutter black person. And that be the problem with the booking.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? That part.
I wonder.
Anything you want to add?
Wrestling company for black. I wonder what are they gonna maybe someone should talk to Ice Cube. Hey Ice Cube, you got big three guard with basketball. Can you do the same with wrestling? Can you do something to wrestling? Have a big wrestling company? I don't know.
I bet you they won't. It's too tied. It's too. Yo, we're gonna get to the history, so y'all stick around. We're gonna get to the history. We're gonna go over a lot of the. There's a wrestler that tried to get his own promotion because he said that he wasn't gonna wrestle in only black arenas. He was not gonna wrestle just black wrestlers. You know what I mean? And he started to try his own thing, and they eliminated him. You see how Vince is doing AEW, where he got them limited to the arenas that they could hold shows in. They can't even mess with certain. They ain't even got a TV deal yet. So imagine if you're a black person trying to do that. We're gonna need absolute teamwork and unity, like Jarvis said. It can be done. Let's not get it twisted. But it's not gonna be done because we have some backbiting, crab in the barrel folks in our community, and it is what it is. And that's global. It's global.
Yeah, they want to monopolize everything too.
Yeah,
so.
they taught us how to be real mingy to each other globally.
That's true. That's very true.
Look how he ragging this dude. Look how he just. It's just like no match. It's no match. It's no match. It's just like Friday night. If they was really fighting, if Street Profits really fought that combination of the bloodline, it wouldn't have been no match. No match. And like a lot of the WWE black athletes, if you put them in there with their counterparts, with our white bread counterparts, it's not a match. It's not a match. If we going off of actual ability and actual talent, it's no match. But now if we scripting it, and that's the problem. That part, the script part. Like when we gonna make this joint some logic? Like when we gonna make it logical? We losing people now. We starting to lose people. We lost Ricochet, one of the dopest talents I ever seen. We lost Bobby. We lost MVP. Cedric, where is Cedric?
NXT. He's on NXT. He's not doing nothing though. He ain't doing nothing big, by the way.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Pretty much on life support. Him, and what's the other dude? Ashanti, Adonis, they on life support.
Nasty work.
Yeah, when they go to NXT, I see it. That's like life support.
Look at him. It's not even a match, bro. Son holding him. It's not even a match, bro.
Johnson controlled every second.
Not even a match, bro.
Brutal.
Not even a match, bro, though. You see that, though, KD? Like, it's nasty work. That's their great white height.
Just practice. Practice. Maybe they're falling.
This is tragedy.
The film is stopped by local police the moment Tommy is about to hit the floor.
Yo, how dirty is that? I'm gonna play that back because I interrupted it, but I'm gonna play that back, and that is why is that's it. That's it. That explains the booking right there, bro. Because the American culture needs. Remember, you gotta remember this is scripted, so it's fairy tale. You know what I mean? It's less pretend. It's a soap opera. So people that's in reality and their reality don't work for them, they come to entertainment to escape their reality. So you don't want to see what's in your reality when you escaping it to come to the entertainment, right? So this is why. This is why. People know in the reality what it is. People know in the reality what it is. If you square off with any type of black person, and that's including our sisters. People know in the reality you're not gonna win. So they escape their reality through wrestling because wrestling is scripted for the white man to always go over on the black man. And you get your dopamine fix. Dopamine is just like any other drug. Just like any other drug. I ain't gonna go too deep though. This is a wrestling channel, and I know we came just like we use this channel. We come to this channel to get our fix. You know what I mean? So we don't be wanting to hear the truth when we trying to get our fix, just like little crackheads. Subscribe, guys.
The film is stopped by local police the moment Tommy is about to hit the floor.
Yes, there is an app that allows you to see a map of red.
Now that's crazy, Katie. Why did they cut the film with why did they cut the film before the white man hit the floor? Why do you think?
Oh, it's embarrassing. They didn't want them to see that a black man has dominance and you're about to get a win over it. You know, they don't like to see domination like that.
I thought this was America, though. I thought it was the land of the free and the home of the brave and all of that.
Mm-hmm. They don't want to see that. They took their footage, they burnt it up somewhere. They burnt it up.
That's crazy. Let's get to some history, though, man. Let's get to some history, man. Word. Let's get to some history real quick. Professional wrestling has a very long and rich history. You cannot talk wrestling without the many contributions and achievements of African American and other wrestlers of color, and help pave the way in breaking ground, fighting segregation, battling racism, and rising above all. Today's stars, Bobby Lashley, The New Day, Bianca Belair, and many others might not be where they are without many of these trailblazers. One of the very first, if not the first, black pro wrestler, that's him right here, guys, was a wrestler named Vero Smalls. Vero Smalls started out his career at age 16 and was a former slave. He wrestled at the East Coast under the moniker Black Sam. So Vero Smalls, guys, the very first African American pro wrestler? KD?
Wow, that's interesting to know. The first black wrestler. I never heard it before. It's history here. What did they say what organization he was in?
He wasn't in the organization.
Just
He
wrestling.
wrestled on the East Coast under the moniker Black Sam. So he probably
Okay.
was a jobber. He probably was a jobber for various organizations. But he was
So
the
what,
first.
okay. What was they getting paid? A quarter back then? $1, $2, $3 back then?
Who knows? Who
Low with it.
knows? The first ever black wrestler to hold the world championship of any kind. And it probably was the colored. They probably tagged this probably gonna be your first color. Because remember, the titles were segregated just like how in boxing it was. Remember, Jack was like, nah, so I want that title. I want that title. You know what I mean? So this guy right here was the first one to win the first world championship of any kind. He was the Jamaican-born Frank Cozier. In 1909, Cozier, the world's middleweight title, won the world's middleweight title in London, England. He defended the title against both white and black challengers, guys. Katie?
Wow, it's one of history right here. He was a Jamaican guy. So he wasn't even American. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And he won the middleweight in London, England. Is that why wrestling has so much history with London? They love using the London arena.
You're
Everything's
right.
in London.
The O2 arena was
Yeah,
it for them.
yeah. I think that's that. I guess that's the
Wembley.
Wembley. And then remember, they trying to get WrestleMania in London for WrestleMania 42, I believe. They're trying to get WrestleMania over there. London
Mm-hmm.
has a lot of history with wrestling. I see that now.
Then we got Reginald Siki was the grandson of slaves and wrestled from the 1920s until the 1940s. Siki was one of the first African Americans to successfully tour the country and the world. He wrestled against all races at a time when most white wrestlers refused to be in the same ring with black competitors. His star power made him a champion in Europe and caught the eyes of Hollywood directors like Cicely B. DeMille. Siki married a white woman, which was extremely taboo during this era.
Wow. Grandson of a slave, you said?
Yeah. It
Wow.
goes deep. It go back. It go back. The history go back. Now, Black
Wow.
Panther Jim Mitchell broke color barriers in Canada by becoming one of the country's top baby faces starting in 1926. He hailed from Louisiana, Kentucky, but promoters in Canada said he was from Harlem, New York. Harlem, stand up. That's my hometown right there. Mitchell would integrate wrestling up north by wrestling against numerous white stars of that era. All in all, his career lasted 23 years. Now, that was the first one of them gimmicks right there. They gave him a gimmick. They wanted to play like if he was from Harlem, because I guess Harlem was popular. Harlem was trending, Harlem Nights. So they said, we're going to make you from Harlem. Kind of like Booker T. Just like Booker T. Because Booker T, how you going to be in Harlem Heat and you from Texas, my brother?
Yeah, I didn't realize that. We all thought he was Harlem Heat, him and Stevie Ray. Yep.
Right. Right. I knew I ain't never see them in Harlem. Like, I ain't never see Bad News Brown. Like, bro, you from Canada. How you from Harlem? If you was you trained in the dungeon and all of that, bro, when you ever was in Harlem, but that's never here, never there. Never here, never there. I'm from Harlem. Like, this is a hell of a picture right here. Negroes wrestling on Legion card. During the 1950s, black wrestlers were segregated into their own division. They wrestled in the Chitlin Circuit, which was named after the innard of pigs that slave owners used to feed their slaves. We know a lot about chitlins. We know about them chitlins now. Them things stink. You can't, don't invite me over to your house, especially not Thanksgiving Eve if that's what you cooking, because them things come in a bucket. Them things smell like a body. They smell like an absolute body, guys. Ugh, not good.
Yeah, intestines. They're pigs' intestines.
Yeah, what you gotta endure for the amount that you about to eat and for the taste that you're about, it's not worth it to me. But I know us folks, we got our traditions. That's not really traditions. That's bad habits. That's all. But in any event, which was named after the innard of a pig that slave owners used to feed their slaves. They had their own championship titles that were called World Negro title or World Colored title. This is why I use that Jack Johnson video to show you it's the same thing. Remember, Jack said, no, I don't just want to be the colored champion. I want your championship, Craig. I want your money, Craig. You know what I mean? So it's just some history, guys. It's history. The titles were recognized by the National Wrestling Alliance. So you'll recognize our colored title, but we can't win your NWA title, right? So you will recognize the colored title, but what happened when we win the colored title? We can't win that 10 pounds of gold. Pay attention, guys. Pay attention. Inspired by Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier in baseball in 1947, promoter Billy Wolf decided to capitalize on history by introducing black women to professional wrestling. His troupe consisted of 3 sisters named Ethel Johnson, Babs Wingo, and Merva Scott. Other black women, including Kathleen Wimberly and Mary Harton, Wolf was quoted as saying about his all-black women wrestler, "My Negro girls are the hottest thing in this sport." Now, what you got to say about that, TBK, knowing what you know about how our women nowadays are booked?
So I see that they always had the muscular black woman. The one in the middle kind of resembles a Bianca Belair or Jacqueline or something like that. So that was always the image of a female black wrestler. And always got to add some type of appeal to it, pretty much. So they always try to promote sex appeal, but yeah.
Right, because he said hottest. He didn't say the most athletic. He didn't say the most talented, the hottest. Like,
yeah, it's all about what they can sell, and I see nothing changed. Nothing changed. I see. That's what I see. It's
that's a fact. K. Will, what's going on, K. Will?
Wow.
But history. This history we going over tonight, guys. We going over history. All right.
You said some good stuff, though. Go ahead. You said some good stuff.
Luther Lindsay was a former standout college football player. Woo! So now we get into the first black football player turned wrestler, because that's a pipeline going from college football to wrestling. So many stars: Ron Simmons, Rock. You know what I mean? Well, I said we're not going to talk about The Rock today. But Ron Simmons, you know what I mean? He's one of those guys.
Mark Henry was a power lifter. Didn't Mark Henry play football a little bit too, or he's only a power lifter?
I'm not too sure.
He played football in college. I think he played. I think if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
yeah, he
Trick
played football in high
Williams.
school. He played football in high school. I don't think he played in college. He was more of a power lifter. And then of course Trick Williams. Um, I think Moose, the guy that was
Moose.
the state, Moose was a football player. I think he even was in NFL. Moose, that was the
Right. TNA.
TNA champion. He was a former football player for real. He actually played for them. If you guys remember, Moose played for the Atlanta Falcons and plenty other teams. He was actually pro. He went pro. So that's a good example right there.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Well, Luther Lindsay was a former standout college football player who couldn't find work in the NFL because of his skin color. Lindsay ended up playing pro football in Canada, and that is where he met Stu Hart and became good friends. So we can eliminate that, but we know that because look at Bret Hart. Bret Hart married to a black woman. So we know it ain't a racist bone in our Hart family. Ain't a racist bone in our Hart family, guys. History, guys. History. And that is where he met Stu Hart and became good friends. Lindsay was trained by Hart and became a wrestler competing from the 1950s until the early 1970s. Then NWA World Champion Lou Thesz said that Luther Lindsay was the greatest black wrestler of all times, but also added that his place in history was not because he was black, but in spite of being black. So why you ain't put the title on him? Why not put the strap on that? We all know how they hurl Lou Thesz. So now for Lou Thesz to say that about Luther Lindsay, a black man, a black wrestler at that, it says something. TBK, take it away.
So he couldn't get the title. He said this. He said it was not because he's black, but in spite of being black. Wow. Y'all did not want nobody to have a belt. That's what I said. Rikishi was he was spot on with that promo. Y'all did not want to see a black person win, though.
Yeah, like they did not want to. Yo, and you know what's crazy? They did not want to see. You know, I couldn't play all of the documentary of the Jack joint, the Jack Johnson. But you know that after he beat that dude that they thought was the man, they end up going to get the guy that retired. They got the Jeffries guy that retired as the champion. He kind of ducked Jack and then retired, which let Tommy Guns what's the name? He let the other guy who Jack demolished and they stopped the camera for. Jeffries came back and they thought he was gonna do something. He beat the hell out of that man too, boy. He beat the hell out of Jeffries too. You know that? And they were really mad. The establishment was really mad. And then they ended up trying to send any and everybody at him. And it didn't work. Up until they got this, I think they got this guy juiced up. This dude was juiced up. Jack hit him with everything under the sun. They end up going 25 rounds, guys. And Jack just couldn't go no more. And they was happy. They took that as a win. They took that. They was good with that. You can't make this stuff up, bro.
I just realized something. I think I know why they wrote the black wrestlers over, besides the whole racial thing. I just think that the wrestling industry has a fear that if they do that, the whole wrestling industry will be ran by predominantly black people. And we've seen that with the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA was not like it is today.
Mm-hmm.
Known as a black sport. That's called what it is. In NFL, we just say it's a diverse.
Mm-hmm.
Black. There's more blacks. They're just not quarterbacks, but all the tight ends, the defensive line, offensive line. There's a lot of black guys in those positions. In the defensive side, they ain't gonna let them run. Yeah, but I think if they
But Joe, you know what slowed us down? Because I know where you're going. What slowed us down in NFL was Michael Vick. The
Yeah,
Michael
oh,
Vick.
big time, big time. And I think that's what these whole wrestling industries are going. If you keep putting on there, they're gonna take over every. And I think they're afraid of losing their fan base, which is predominantly a white fan base. They're scared that they're gonna lose ticket sales, merchandise sales, and we know how much amount of money that brings in revenue for all wrestling companies. I think they have fears like if we put the belt on black people. I'm not saying it's right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a right thing that they're doing if that's the reason. I'm saying I think if they do that, they're thinking, hey, we gonna lose a lot of ticket sales. People start coming to the shows, live events. Hey, we gonna lose merchandise sales. Ain't nobody gonna buy the merchandise no more. And then we're gonna take a big hit. Because wrestling industry did go through a big hit back in 94, 95 with steroids. They probably don't want to face that again. I'm just saying. Maybe they have fear of going back to that.
That's a fact. Gerard, you on point with something right there. And I want you to pay attention to something. They're gonna turn Xavier Woods heel, but that don't mean that they're gonna push him. They might turn him heel so that they could feed him to the good guy Cody. You know what I mean? They're gonna turn him heel and they're gonna push him to the moon because that's the blueprint. That's what they do to us. They turn us heel and they get us believable. We're good enough to believe. Remember, they want us, we're just good enough to believe. Remember the promo?
Yeah.
Triple H said you're here to entertain. You're here to entertain. So we're good enough to make it look like we're about to win, but then we get there and we lose. Look at Carmelo Hayes, guys.
Look at him.
Why is Carmelo Hayes? I know for a fact Carmelo Hayes better be that surprise. He better be the one come out and take the challenge for the open challenge at Berlin. Because if not, that is criminal. What you think, TBK?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Carmelo Hayes was the first round draft pick to SmackDown. Former NXT champion, former NXT North American champion. He had a pretty good resume coming in getting drafted to SmackDown. Why is he getting put down all the way on the card now? Why? And then no offense to Andrade. Why is he taking an L for Andrade over and over? I mean, that's wrong too. Carmelo should get an opportunity.
That's
and I think this is what Swerve meant when he left WWE, and now I see why he left. He saw that where it was going. Like, he's not gonna be a part of that. He's not gonna push me. But they'll push us, make us heel. Then what I don't like when they make heel, they always make them a cowardly, stupid heel. I see that a lot, time and time again. They always do that.
Yeah, Wally.
Always.
Wally, you ain't see SmackDown on Friday? Yeah, LA Knight issued an open challenge, bro. He said he'll see whoever at Bash in the Berlin. He going to Bash in the Berlin and he'll see whoever. So it's an open challenge.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of this whole heel thing. They'll be healed and they look stupid afterwards. They bring them down. So I just don't like that. I mean, I think that's a whole bunch of
I agree. Everybody don't need to be healed. Like everybody don't need to be healed. Plus, people was healed. If you trace their making, a lot of people was healed already. Down to John Cena. We want him to be healed so bad. He was healed already.
Yeah. And I think that's why Stone Cold Steve Austin is such a unique character. Stone Cold's not a baby face boy. He was an anti-hero. That's what made him so unique.
Right. All right, let's get back to it. By the 1960s, pro wrestling began to desegregate, spearheaded by the likes of Sputnik Monroe, a very popular white wrestler who refused to compete on shows unless the black fans could sit wherever they like, instead of being isolated from other non-black fans. He will also often team with African-American wrestlers. Norvell Austin, Monroe would say, "Black is beautiful," and Austin would reply, "White is wonderful." Yeah, that's teamwork. And remember, guys, every white man not white supremacy. Every white person not white supremacy. Because yeah, y'all do know that the jewels and the curly hats run the show. This their circus. They run the show. And every white person is not a jewel. You know that, right, guys? Remember that. For more information on that, y'all can subscribe to my Brutally Honest Good Bread channel, guys. But we not here for that. But let's get it. In the 1960s, promoter Nick Gules booked the first integrated match in the South, Birmingham, Alabama, to be exact. Lynn Russo, white, teamed with Bearcat Brown, black, to take on Soul Wingeroff and Tojo Yamamoto. The news of this match taking place led members of the KKK to send bomb threats at the building. The match was going to happen at Glugas Gulas stuck to his guns and moved forward with the match. And the show was a sellout, and team of Russo and Brown continued to team together to win numerous titles to sell out all throughout the South. Damn, it's kind of rough there in that South, though. TBK, what you think?
Man, that's just getting crazy, man. And they made it real hard back in the day. Yeah.
And this is the 60s right here.
This is 60s that
I
time.
know who this is coming up next, man. I know who this is. This is now we getting into the more modern. I mean, those guys was the fabric. Those guys was the Mount Rushmore type, the fabric, the bones. But now I know who this is. This is that boy Sweet Daddy Siki. Because now this is when black wrestlers started main eventing. And this is one of the first black wrestlers to really draw. Like, wait, people buying tickets because of a black person? Yeah, this is him, guys. This is him. The first integrated world title match was believed to be between Nature Boy Buddy Rogers and Sweet Daddy Siki in Greensboro, North Carolina in the early 1960s for the NWA world title. So Siki was also one of those first ones that was good enough to get there, but lose. TBK?
That's crazy. You look like Dennis Rodman mixed with Ric Flair.
He do it, right? A little, right? You see him, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I said he's like Dennis Rodman combined with Ric Flair with the role.
A little Billy Graham. A little Billy Graham.
A little bit Billy Graham too, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's funny.
Now we coming into our day and age, and it's a little funny story that I got. Some fun facts on this one, guys. Y'all know who this is. This is Bobo. Bobo Brazil started his career in the segregated 1950s wrestling circuit. He was so popular with both black and white fans, promoters started booking him to face off against all races. On October 18th, 1962, Brazil defeated Nature Boy Buddy Rogers after kicking him in the groin, and Rogers could not continue. Bobo was awarded the NWA World title, becoming the first African American world champion. However, Brazil relinquished the title to set up a rematch with Rogers in which he lost. The NWA never recognized Brazil's title victory. Guys, the story that I was going to tell you about that is not true. And I don't know who wrote this, but I did my research, guys. And what happened here is Buddy Rogers got DQ'd Bobo Brazil. And at the time, that rule of the squad, a lose was a lose, pretty much. So even if you lost your title. It wasn't the rule where count out and disqualifications, you can't lose the title. But Bobo he had integrity. He didn't want to win the title off of disqualification. So he forfeited the title the next night. And that's why they don't recognize it as a title. Not what I just read. Not that's false. Y'all do y'all research, guys. Remember, we just here to present the information. Y'all go do the research. You ain't gotta argue with me because you think you know it all. Edward, go ahead, bro.
I wonder during these times, since he lost 60, I know Bubba Brazil stood up for himself. I wonder was some of these people or some of these black wrestlers afraid to speak up because during them times when they're afraid they was gonna get, get dealt with pretty much. They got dealt with.
Yeah.
The way they did it in those times, like you say anything, you know what's gonna happen. You better not open your mouth.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Like the acceptance, just the fact that they're accepted, they will tolerate anything. And I think that had a lot to do with it. Edward Bearcat Wright won the WWA Los Angeles version of the world title just 5 days before Martin Luther King "I Have a Dream" speech. Oh, so this is how they capitalize on trending culture, pop culture. So, WWA put their title on him 5 days before Martin Luther King "I Have a Dream" speech in 1963.
What's good in the hood? Just hold it down, trying to take care of business.
Keep it up, I'm a nigga.
The title victory made Wright the first recognized black world champion of any, and the WWA title eventually lost its world title status. I bet it did lost its world title status. Kind of right after Martin Luther King got assassinated, right? Right. Fools. World title status. Bearcat was also very vocal about segregation and oftentimes refused to wrestle unless blacks were allowed to sit with whites. Anything you want to add to that one, bro? Edward Bearcat Wright.
Unbelievable. 5 days before Martin Luther. This is just, man, this really is what you call, what do they call it? They try to spin things the best way possible. I mean, man,
it's crazy.
It ain't never gonna change. I'm thinking it ain't never gonna change. I mean, this is ridiculous how they doing this stuff. I mean, they really are. It's with their face value, pretty much. You know, their face value.
It is what it is. You see it for what it is. You can only see it for what it is, bro.
Wow, that's all that's saying.
All right. Dory Dixon was a Jamaican-born wrestler who became Mexico's very first black superstar in Lucha Libre. Now, this is the first black Lucha Libre superstar. Dixon's wrestling career spanned over 30 years. He mainly wrestled in EMLL and the UWA, but also ventured to places like Japan and the WWF. But the majority of his success was in Mexico. That's the first black lucha guy, bro.
Man, I did not know that. What's his name again?
His name is Dory Dixon.
Dixon. Yeah, Lucha's they don't get enough respect for what they be doing in the wrestling industry. They done a lot. They done a lot over there. They sacrificed for real.
Facts. Man, do they? Bro. Remember we was talking in the introduction about our memories. I remember watching Lucha Libre on TV in grandma's house, watching it. Yep, watching it. I ain't understand a thing the commentators was saying, but I was watching the wrestling. I could hit mute and watch. Man, listen, man. I go back. But I see Gerard is on point. And next up is Ernie Ladd, the big cat. The big cat, Ernie Ladd, and this is that pro football to wrestling pipeline, guys. The big cat, Ernie Ladd, was a pro football player turned Hall of Fame wrestler. Ladd was also made the first African-American booker, promoters who worked side by side with Bill Watts for the Mid-South territories. Ernie Ladd. So Ernie Ladd seen, and Bill Watts was the most racist promoter we ever seen or we ever known. So Bill Watts, you let him coach your vote because you was getting the check. I mean, it is what it is. A lot of this is self-inflicted, guys. A lot of this stuff that we are going through, the battle is between us and us versus us. Understand that. And a lot of this stuff is self-inflicted. Earl Maynard was born in Barbados and became a bodybuilder in 1960. He transitioned to pro wrestler this is that bodybuilder to pro wrestler joint right here. This is that bodybuilder to pro wrestling pipeline. He transitioned to pro wrestling during and after his wrestling career ended in 1978. Maynard successfully made his way in Hollywood. Wow. So this is also your first Hollywood, from wrestling to Hollywood. It's not The Rock, guys. It's not Hogan. It's Earl Maynard. Earl Maynard. You heard that, guys. Remember, you heard it first. Maynard successfully made his way in Hollywood. He has over 20 movies to his credit as an actor and even more as a director. God damn, guys. So this is some history for you. KD, you got anything you want to add?
This is history. I did not know he was the first one to go to Hollywood. But see, he didn't make a name in Hollywood.
But you wouldn't know that. You can't say that he didn't make a name because we didn't live. We wasn't in 1978, bro. We no way. We wasn't even there. We wasn't even in the scrotum in 1960 and 1978. We were.
No, we weren't. But I'm saying there are a lot of actors I heard of before I was born. Like I heard of Fred Williamson. I heard of Jim Brown.
Good
Those
point.
guys are football players turned to actors. If I heard of them guys who did play professional football and Bernie Casey too, how come I didn't hear about this guy? That's all I'm saying. I heard of them dudes.
Good point.
And that was way before our time. Way before our time. Why didn't I hear this guy? No, I'm saying they probably try to keep him in the wrestling realm. They didn't want him to go out break off too much. They probably kept him limited.
Or like you said, he probably was like a Hogan. Like, and think about it. Nobody remembers Hogan's movies. Like you know what I mean? Yeah, granted, he was in. We remember Rocky. We remember his appearance as Thunder Lips more than Suburban Commando.
That's true.
So you're right. But guys, he had 20 movies and he was a director. And this is a brother. So just understand, bro. Understand.
He got a Hollywood look, I believe. He do got a Hollywood look.
Definitely.
That time, he looked like he could have been. Maybe he was in a black exploitation film. Maybe he was around. Maybe he was. He could have had a small role. We didn't know it back then.
Right. Who knows? Sailor Art Thomas was former merchant marine who became a very popular wrestler back in the 1960s and 70s, often using his time as a merchant marine to get over with fans of all races. Art Thomas was a true star of his era. And that's what I'm saying. Why we can't, you know, that Montez Ford is a soldier, he's a veteran. Like, why he gotta come out as the junkie with an empty cup Why he gotta come out as that? Why he can't be a real dude? Like, why he can't be a military man? The world not ready for a black military man. There's black people in the military.
Yeah, I don't understand why he can't be booked, because Montez Ford got talent. I understand he ain't the best on the mic, but he does have skill though. You can't deny the in-ring skill. Remember that fight, the Elimination Chamber last year? The spider on spot?
Yeah.
That's dope.
I wouldn't even have Montez talk. I would have him come through, wreck shit, jump off shit, fly, and just wreck shit. I want to have him talk, yo. We don't need you to talk, bro. But we don't talk. If you gonna really culture vulture, we don't talk. We talk after. But I digress. Sonny King was the first black wrestler to co-hold the WWF Tag Team title with Chief Jay Strongbow in 1972. And that's key, because I ain't even gonna hold you. Think about it, guys. After the Rock's father and Tony Atlas held the tag team titles, what two black tag team champions did we get up until the New Day? None. Every single black man that held the tag team title after Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas had to have a white partner. Think about it, guys. And that leads me to why didn't this team win the tag team championships, y'all? Chat. Those of you watching on the playback, why didn't Crime Time win the tag team championship? TBK?
That's robbery. That's robbery right there. I remember this thing was over. They was on Raw. They even had segments with John Cena. And they had segments with DX. It like they weren't getting no screen time. Why weren't and they competed for the tag team belt? They weren't good enough to win it. I don't understand that. I still don't understand that.
Crazy, right?
And honestly, Street Profits was inspired by these guys. That's what Street Profits comes to Crime Time. They ain't that much different. What's this with Crime Time and Street Profits? That's what blows me too. If you really think about it, they're very similar characters.
And that's gonna segue us to salute to the street, the I'm about to say Street Profits. Salute to Crime Time. Let's find out why they never won the titles.
So there are three that I know of, where Crime Time was supposed to win the World Tag Team titles. 3 occasions. One time in 2007, another time in 2008, and another time in 2009. If there were more occasions where we were supposed to win, that's beyond my knowledge, but I'm going to tell you from what I heard. The first time Crime Time was supposed to win the World Tag Team titles was in 2007 at a pay-per-view. I can't remember the pay-per-view. I know you guys, the fans, will know the pay-per-view, so please leave it in the comments. But it was after a South Africa tour in September. I was told when we came back from our 6-month release, because we were released for putting our hands on the ref. If you want the details, you got to get the book. I'll probably leave the link in the description. But we were supposed to work Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch the whole South African tour. And when we came back, we were supposed to win the titles at the pay-per-view. That was one occasion. The second time Crime Time was supposed to win the World Tag Team titles, that from what I've heard, actually not from what I've heard, I heard it straight from the horse's mouth, was in October 2008. We had a match the week prior on Raw, and we had some disagreements with the current champions. And because of those disagreements over a spot, one of the champions came up to me the same day and said, we were supposed to drop the titles to you, but he pulled me to the side. He said, creative decided to change it because of the disagreement that we had over a spot. And the following week, the champions dropped the titles to Kofi and CM Punk. You put 2 and 2 together. The third time Crime Time was supposed to win the World Tag Team titles was in 2009 at SummerSlam. It was Crime Time versus Jericho. That's actually one of my favorite matches of all of my entire career. Even though we didn't win the titles, that's still one of my favorite matches because it was in my new hometown, Los Angeles, at the Staples Center. And it was against Big Show and Chris Jericho, who I have so much respect for. The pinnacle of professionalism and who you should aspire to be if you want to be a professional wrestler. Chris Jericho is the man in the locker room, respected in and out. But I digress. We didn't win the titles, and I was told later on from creative that they decided to keep the titles on Jericho because they wanted them to work a feud with DX. A few months later, Jericho dropped the titles to DX in a TLC match, which was a very good match. But just coming from me, I think a feud with Crime Time and DX, that's where the money would have been. Ooh, the backstage segments, the chemistry on the mic going back and forth. Yeah, I would have gave Shawn Michaels a run for his money. He didn't want that smoke, but you got what you got.
And that's a fact. And it's key that he say that. It's key that he say that because that go back to if you put them in the ring together, it's going the Jack Johnson effect. It's the Jack Johnson effect, bro. He's spot on, bro. Shawn Michaels ain't want that work. These dudes was funny. These dudes was over. TBK, touch on this, bro.
Crime Time was definitely over. And that would have been epic if they had a match. Crime Time versus DX. Showing the segments that they had backstage. These guys are doing their thing, man. I still don't understand why they didn't win the belt. I didn't get it to this day. And now we
Facts.
How are you supposed to win the tag team belts 3 different occasions and never won it? And then over some tag, just because you disagree over a spot? Come on, that's petty, man.
Yo, shit crazy though, bro, because you know what I like about them? Because the word that I want y'all to understand for the day, right? And what makes black people valuable, black men valuable in these sports, it's the exaggerated swag. Remember that. It's the exaggerated swag. The exaggerated swag is what be having. That's what the world is missing. Without black men, it is missing exaggerated swag, bro. That's and it's blah. It's your blah. It only get lit when you add the black man. It only get lit when you add the black man. You know what I mean? Honestly, guys.
You got a point. It is exaggerated. And he know they should have won. Like he said it was 3. He said it was more than that. So what is to happen that they could never win all them time?
Yeah. It's kind of like New Jack when he talked about how the Undertaker told him if they put his character over, like how New Jack and the gangsters was putting his character over in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, if the WWE at the time WWF put his character over that same way, man, he would have been bigger than life. We'd have been talking about Undertaker like if he was Hulk Hogan right now, because New Jack had that exaggerated swag. New Jack said every time the Undertaker would touch him, he would yell. You can just imagine just New Jack, man. Man, I love New Jack, man. New Jack is one of the greatest characters of all, the realest, not greatest. He's one of the realest characters of all time, yo. Don't you think, KD, man?
And you know what I'm saying? Nothing but rednecks up here. Nothing but geese up here. Nothing but coal miners up here. Chickens.
No doubt. New Jack, he always covered the book. And he didn't care what anyone thought about it either.
I don't don't like being up here. I was getting out my car. I slipped and fell. It's the tobacco pit. And you know what I'm saying? Nothing but rednecks up here. Nothing but geeks up here. Nothing but coal miners up here. Chicken farmers, clansmen. I don't like nobody but my partner. You understand? I don't care who you line up in front of me. I'm going to show you how bad New Jack and Mustafa is. You want to talk about violence? Violence to you might be putting somebody in a figure four. Violence to me is taking a can of gas and pouring it on you and setting you on fire. Like me or not, I didn't come up here to be liked. I came up here to get paid. And whoever you put in front of me, I'm going to drop you down.
And that's a fact, man. Man. Let's get back to the video, man. Knowledge being dropped here, y'all.
There are a few more occasions where Crime Time was supposed to win the tag team titles. Those three stood out the most. But to be honest with you, we didn't need them. I'm looking back at my career, and when we started in 2006, we were one of the fastest up and rising tag teams, the most popular during our era. Go back and look at the archives. Crime Time during 2006 to 2009 was one of the most popular tag teams in WWE history. And
he ain't lying. He ain't lying, KD. He is not lying.
No, he not. It was one of the popular things, definitely. I remember Prime Time.
Yeah, and it's because they perpetuated the stereotype. Like, they made fun. They poked at the stereotype. You know what I mean? They knew that they made fun of the stereotype, bro. That's what made it cool. Like, oh, they making fun of it. Like, all right. And that's where the creativity came in at. They should have won the titles, bro. You know what I think? I think Crime Time truly didn't win because they forced Crime Time's gimmick on John Cena. They forced Crime Time's gimmick on John Cena, so they couldn't have two gimmicks getting over at the same time. Now go back to what we said earlier in the live, how you can't have two black gimmicks successful at the same exact time. Because we all know Cena got his gimmick from 50 Cent, G-Unit, the Shady, Aftermath, and that whole, what they was doing.
You transition.
What's good in the hood? Just hold it down, trying to take care of business. Keep it up, I'm a nigga.
The Marine character, but I guess they got through with Cena. They didn't want to again. Maybe that's why too.
Who knows, bro?
And we didn't need the titles for that. Looking back, there's been champions, tag team champions. There have been superstars that have been put together to be tag team champions, and you guys would never remember them, but you remember Crime Time. I have no regrets or quarrels about my career. Looking back, I had an amazing tag team career, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Crime Time will be remembered as the uncrowned champions, and to me, as long as we're remembered, that's all that's important to me. So all the fans that keep asking me why we were never tag team champions, there you go. I give you 3 instances where we were supposed to win, but because of disagreements, politics, better storylines.
There was no better storylines, man. You spoken and spun like a true politician, just like the rest of them, man. And that's the sad thing, how they can brainwash our brothers, and it's called buck breaking. They buck break our brothers into thinking that they did them a favor because they cut a check. In exploiting the culture, they cut the check to them. So it's like, I'm not going to bite the hand that feed me. It's like Stockholm Syndrome. Your mother beat you to death. She disrespects you, violates you, but you still love her. It's sad, bro. Sonny King was the first black wrestler to co-hold the WWF Tag Team titles with Chief Jay Strongbow. Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson, a.k.a. Soul Patrol, were the very first all-black tag team champions. And this is what I was talking about, guys. Like, it normally is rare to see 2 black men hold the titles especially back then. You could run off a list. I know you know, TBK, a lot of black and white tag team champions, but it ain't
Yes.
that in that era. It ain't you're not gonna find black on black up from this time, from these two till I think New Day or Usos. It ain't no two black men as champions.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you either saw a black dude and a white dude, or you saw two black dudes compete and get close but never win it. And never win it. Yep. Especially on Monday Night Raw. So no way. That's a no one show.
Mm-hmm. Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson, aka Soul Patrol, were the very first all-black world tag team champions in the WWF. They would not be another all-black tag team tag team for a company until the 2000s. So that go to show you guys, they won this joint in the 80s, and until the 2000s, it was in another two-man black tag team champions. Thunderbolt Patterson started his wrestling career in the mid-1960s and faced a great deal of racism. Along the way, he, instead of just sitting back and allowing it to happen, Patterson became outspoken of the racial inequalities in professional wrestling. By the 1970s, Patterson was blacklisted. All right, so now this is the first one to rebuke the devil. Patterson was blacklisted from the NWA and their various territories. He attempted to start his own promotion. That's why, right? He's the person. He's significant to all of you. That's like, so if you don't like the way it's being booked, go start your own thing. We're gonna do the history of what happens when we go start our own thing, our own wrestling thing. He attempted to start his own promotion, but the powers of the NWA at the time was too strong. Thunderbolt Patterson never gave up fighting and was eventually reinstated and allowed to compete. So again, like Triple H said in his promo to Booker T, you can entertain, you could be a part. Yeah, you could wrestle, but you ain't good enough to win the title though. You could wrestle though. And allowed to compete in the NWA ring. Thanks to friends like Ole Anderson. And we already know Ole fumbled the bag with The Undertaker. Ole fumbled the bag with Vince, period. Like, Ole is a huge fuck up. He's a bad businessman. He's not a great businessman. And Dory Funk. Now that's who might have been pulling the strings. Because we got stories of Dory Funk helping black men, Terry Funk helping black men. But Ole Anderson, you's a dummy. Let's move this along. Wow. And we all know the Junkyard Dog. Everybody know one of the most popular black wrestlers of all times. He's definitely gonna be on your Mount Rushmore. If you make a pro black wrestling Mount Rushmore, Junkyard Dog gotta be on there. So y'all get that ready. I just gave y'all hints. Those of y'all watching on the playback, put your Mount Rushmore in the chat. And those of y'all that's in the chat now live, put your Mount Rushmore. Put your full Mount Rushmore in black. Black pro wrestlers. What's your pro black Mount Rushmore for pro black wrestlers? Put it in the chat right now, guys. I'll read it out. The Junkyard Dog was so popular during his run in Bill Watts' Mid-South territory, many fellow wrestlers compared his popularity at the time to rival that of Hulk Hogan, and in the early 1980s. His star power helped sell out arenas throughout the territory and And when heels took advantage of his beloved babyface, riot and attempt murders on the Hill were commonplace. We got into greater detail of his big time run in Mid South. We're gonna talk about it because now Junkyard Dog guys, they had a poll. They had conducted a poll where they asked, and they had like the most popular baseball player at the time, the most popular basketball player. Junkyard Dog won. So Junkyard Dog popularity was unquestionably popular. Why they never put the strap on Junkyard Dog, guys, in his heyday? We not talking about, we get it. We understand that he self-sabotaged like most of us. Like most of us, he self-sabotaged with the coat. But before the coat, why y'all didn't put that strap on that man? TBK, you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, that's just robbery too. Junkyard Dog could be saying if he was champion. Now this is because of a certain one of the biggest politicians, Mr. Hulk Hogan. But I don't think he could even stop it. Only Vince could stop it. I don't know. You would think showing his stature would have won. There's one Junkyard in WWE for a while, like years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have won it. He was more over than Coco Beware and more over than Batman Brown.
Yeah, he was more over than Hulk Hogan, bro. He was more over than Hulk Hogan. And just he should have won it for the fact his gimmick was the most damaging. Look at him in this picture, bro. What you think his gimmick is, TB? I know you know. I know you know. But look at his gimmick. Look, this is disrespectful. This would get canceled nowadays.
Yeah, they remind me of that movie 12 Years Slave.
Right. He's a runaway slave. Junkyard Dog gimmick was centered around him being a runaway slave. He got the chain still around his neck. He should have won just off of that because of the victories that a runaway slave have endured. A lot of the symbolism that the wrestling industry put on black men go over a lot of black people's head because we be so caught up in the fairy tale and because our life is so sucky. Our reality be so sucky. And instead of fixing our reality, we come and we run to these platforms, we run to the entertainment to escape our reality. But a lot of the shit we watch on this entertainment be going right over our head and it be a slap in our face. This man is a runaway slave, bro. You come put the title on him, bro.
Yeah, it's so many years that passed. So
You can't
many
make
men.
this shit up.
No, you can't make it up. That a lot of men could have wore the belt and they didn't do it. Yeah,
More
so.
popular than Hulk Hogan, bro. Crazy, bro. Got into a rivalry with Ric Flair and all of that. That was later on in his career, though. He was kind of washed then. But, you know what I mean? But, yo, come on, man. They could have put the strap on that man. Oh, this was another good dude. Hacksaw Butch Reed replaced the Junkyard Dog as top babyface in Mid-South after Junkyard Dog left for greener pastures of the WWF back in the 1982. Reed defeated Ric Flair to become the new NWA World Champion while wrestling for Championship Wrestling in Florida. His title victory did not hold. You can't make this shit up, bro. You just can't make this shit up, bro. His title victory did not hold up, however, as a dusty finish, as it would be known as a few years later occurred. Man, listen. You just can't make this joint up. Now, the Natural Bush Reed, I know him for being in the team with another good dude. Damn, my boy Ron Simmons. You know what I mean? Who, like I told you, I remember when Ron Simmons won the world's title. But Natural Bush Reed and Ron Simmons was a tag team called Doom. Doom. They was Harlem Heat before Harlem Heat, bro. It was lit. It was up. You remember anything about Natural Butch Reed, TBK?
I heard a little bit about him. I don't know a whole bunch about him. I have heard his name.
Yeah, he's old school now. He's old
Yeah,
school now.
I ain't heard too much about it. I heard the
Yeah,
name. I recognize the name.
we did a video on your Rumble, WrestleMania 4. He was in
Oh,
that tournament. He was definitely in that tournament. He fought the one man gang. No,
yeah.
I forgot. No, he didn't fight the one man gang. My bad. I forgot who he fought, but he fought in that tournament.
Okay.
Guys, who did he fight in WrestleMania 4 tournament? Guys, put it in the chat, y'all. So much wrestling content. I can't remember everything. Here we go. There goes his partner. As we all know, in August of 1992, Ron Simmons finally broke the glass ceiling by defeating Vader to become the WCW World Champion. In doing so, Simmons is recognized officially as the first African American World Champion in pro wrestling history. Damn! My man, Ron Simmons.
Yeah.
And I remember this. I remember him beating Vader. I remember Jim Ross making the call. I remember it like if it was yesterday. I remember Ric Flair at the time was over in WWF with the other big gold belt because this is the new WCW title now because Ric Flair got the big gold belt. Ric Flair got that. He in WWE fronting and styling and profiling with it. So this was the new one right here. Man. All right, now we get to the ladies. And I know you as an expert with when it comes to the ladies. Jackie Moore was considered one of the very toughest wrestlers, either male or female, in history. She started her career in 1988 and wrestled both men and women. She was a record 14-time USWA Women's Champion and the very first Black woman to win the WWF Women's title. Okay, I didn't know that. So that's your first WWE Black Flag Champion woman.
Yeah. Because Jazz is number 2. Jazz is
Right.
right behind you. Yep, I know Jazz. Right. I knew Jazz was up there. I knew she won number 1 though.
Cool. And was also the first female to crack the PWI 500 list for best wrestlers for the year 1993. She was inducted into WWE's Hall of Fame in 2016. Sorry. And I'm not even gonna read this thing. What's that? There's been several wrestlers who traveled to Japan and had successful careers, such as Abdullah the Butcher, among others. None had the success the former WCW power plant trainee Bob Sapp had. On March 28th, 2004, Sapp defeated Kensuke Sukasuka to win the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, becoming the first and only to date African American to hold the title. Wow, hold on. Now I needed to read this though. This was important right here. The first African American to hold the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, becoming the first and only to date African American to hold the title. Not only did Sapp achieve that, but branched out to become a star outside of wrestling in Japan. He did commercials and even cut a record album there. There were many other great and African American wrestling history with likes of Booker T, Ron Killings, Jazz, Black Venus, and many others. No doubt these men and women contributed so much to entertain fans worldwide and knock down walls for others to succeed and excel. And that's a fact, bro. That's a fact, bro. That's our history. That's our history, bro. That brings us to our history, man. That is our history right there. TBK, you got anything you want to add before we going to wrap this up?
Oh man, that's a great history lesson about the history of the champions. There's nothing more to be said. It's checkmate, pretty much. That's the whole history. Stuff I didn't even know. Great stuff.
Facts, guys. So I ain't gonna hold y'all. I know it's late. It's about to hit 12:30 on the East Coast. I appreciate y'all for spending your time here at the Figure 4 TV. TBK, you want to market your channels? Let them know where to find you at.
Yeah, you can check me out at Talk Ring Scandal, aka KDH. Check me at Red Carpet Ring. Also check me at Pink Square Circle. Links should be in the chat for other channels. At least I know Talk Ring Scandal. Check out that channel as well.
No doubt, y'all. Salute to everybody in the chat, y'all. Y'all have a good night, y'all. See y'all later.